through after it had happened and watched the whole thing.
I
You know
hope
what I mean?
not many.
I hope none.
Because that would be that would be borderline stalking.
And boring.
You get on watching somebody not having a great time.
Yeah, that's 10 hours
Isn't
of
that bike
no
racing?
sound.
That's kind of. I was just thinking, God, I just watched a gravel race today, and that
Yeah.
was kind of the same way. Wow, that's a great way to put it. Yeah, so there we go. Hey, everybody, before we begin, you know what happens now. These are the same ad reads from last week, so you get to get the message just brought to you. It's like the Super Bowl commercials when they start repeating after the Super Bowl's over. So function, fit, and value for your eyewear, both on and off the bike. Hijack, broadhead. Without Gooder, we'd all be walking around looking like a cross between Lord Voldemort and Dwight Schrute. Now, I want that to drive home. Lord Voldemort and Dwight Schrute. And I'm not saying the Harry Potter character. I'm saying the guy that we don't want to talk about. Please don't fall victim to the douchebag sunglass syndrome. Get to Gooder.com today. Grab about 10 pair for the price of the D-Bag brand and look good no matter what you are doing. Next off, Ambassador Cycling, people. Now an official sponsor of the Rive Packfiller Racing Team for 2022. Yeah, they're on the logo and everything. Get fit to get fit, people. You know you're being properly set up on the bike is the most critical part of your cycling experience. You want to add watts? Get fit properly to your bike. Think you know everything to know about how you are supposed to be in terms of fit. Well, you're wrong. Trust Sam at ambassadorcycling.com. Untapped maple, people. Paul just got a shipment of untapped maple today. What flavor?
Coffee. Both the waffle and gels.
Coffee waffles?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't tried that yet.
I just had one. My wife says, "Oh, I like these."
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Shit. You're going to have to get more. Home for quick digesting, great tasting, apparently, fueling for your ride. All natural, using the finest maple syrup as the source. So don't think pancakes, because it's not a maple overpowering flavor, right?
No, not at all.
Untapped.cc today to enjoy the fueling choice of the one and only, I was going to say Ted King the first time, but now I'm going to say the one and only Paul Maine.
Well.
Scratch Labs, people. Speaking of fuel, you know you have to drink right. What? Blah. I'm so tired. Speaking of fuel, you know you have to drink, right? There we go. Well, Scratch Labs has you covered, and you can make sure to keep you going. To putting your bottles outside of Belgian Ale. Get to scratchlabs.com today. Man, I did horribly on that one. And the theme is not playing the way it should. Why not? You guys hear it?
You forgot how to do this whole thing.
Internally.
Just hit the button.
Oh, it's playing on the TV behind you guys. There it is. It was playing on the studio monitor.
Who wired this place? Oh, that's why.
Well, that's a wireless connection, which is weird. We are here. We are live, and it's time for another look into the world of the Packfiller. And I made a promise to say this to myself. I got to occasionally brag a little bit. Look at your podcast feed, everybody. How many shows are truly live? How many are unedited? How many allow you to actually participate as the show records? How many have over 300 episodes with some of the biggest names in the sport as guests? How many actually participate in the sports they talk about? There we go. That's us since 1999, the Packfiller. Welcome aboard. Let's have some fun talking about bikes. Let's meet the panel. If you haven't already, gentlemen, please respond to your introduction with your favorite non-cycling sport to watch on TV. Non-cycling sport to watch on TV. So number one, he's writing and he's creating taunting Strava titles, and he is a viral video star. Mr. Paul Maine, how are you, man?
Viral video star?
Yeah, that Packfiller video, which I fucking laughed so hard at.
But a lot of people didn't get that. Jack didn't. He's never seen the movie.
Jackson,
I've never seen
it was a movie reference?
Yeah.
I didn't even get that.
Warriors, Sean Penn.
Oh shit. That was
Now I gotta, see, that's what now I gotta have to run a piggyback to that. There's a 1 minute, you can get a 1 minute clip.
I just thought it was funny.
Yeah. Sean Penn has 3 beer bottles and he's like screaming to the Warriors, "Warriors, come out and play." That's so. I'm thinking that people got this, but it just showed my age.
No, I just thought it was funny.
Yeah,
I thought it was really funny.
Warriors.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
Well. What's your favorite non-cycling Do you anymore?
Yeah, I got a kick out of the biathlon, but that doesn't happen every year. And I've been watching that.
Well, yeah. It doesn't have to be the Winter Olympic sports.
No,
though.
I know.
Yeah.
But faithfully, probably the one that I probably make some effort is probably F1.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But that's outside of cycling.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
All
just
right.
can't think of anything. Oh, no. College basketball.
Gee,
You've been
College.
watching a lot of
That's where I
that.
was
Yeah.
gonna go.
yeah.
It's
you
just
go
that
back.
I've been going to the home game, so I don't even think about it being on TV.
Oh,
But
it's
yeah.
just a way of life
Like
now.
this next month is going to be awesome because it's March Madness.
Oh, you get to go to all that shit?
No,
Really?
no.
Oh.
The
Yeah,
last
he's
one's
traveling.
Saturday.
He's
yeah.
left his job. He's traveling.
Yeah.
Well, after
a
last
groupie.
week,
Yeah.
we're
Well,
going to talk about that one here
yeah.
too shortly. Second of all, he's grown up so fast, and now he's a ride leader and a drum banger. You know, he banged the drum on the last ride, and he led the last ride. It's like
I know.
lift the coop.
We don't need you anymore.
I know. Well, you never need me. I never really
Yeah.
led rides. Mr. Jackson Bolger, how are you, dude?
Doing well.
So you got a sport?
Well, yeah, it's soccer.
You still do watch that pretty religiously.
Yeah, I'm a unfortunate fan of Manchester United. Yeah. So I watch a lot of their games, and if there's nothing else on, I'll watch some other stuff. But I know like every rule there is to know about the game, so I apply my trade there.
You even understand the offsides concept.
Yeah,
Which
and that's
people pretend to know, but I don't think they really know it.
It's pretty simple.
yeah, it's not
Yeah.
Really?
yeah.
Mhm.
Do it. I don't need to get into it now though.
No.
All right. Number 3. He rode more this weekend than he has in a while, and I don't mean that as an insult. And we all love it, Mr. Jack Broadhead, how are you, man?
Great.
Yeah. What's your sport?
People will laugh, but Seahawks football.
That is funny.
I just watch. It is
Lately it is, yeah.
I mean, I love rally. I love F1. I love motorsports. Not NASCAR,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll watch every game I can. And even live. We went to a game this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just a fan.
Did they win the one you went to?
No.
That sucks.
and actually Jimmy Graham caught the winning touchdown for the Bears. Like
The Bears.
I know.
Go Bears.
It's like yeah, it was horrible. It was just pathetic.
Me, I'm Pat Bolger. I'm not sure I can be classified as a cyclist because I haven't straddled the top tube in about 10 days. So my favorite, I want to be cool and say soccer because I do like MLS soccer. I'm a Sounders fan. I do like it.
Should
I
be.
don't watch it enough. So can I say that? Because I think I watched more football and basketball this year than I did soccer. Although I like soccer more. I watch college basketball because it's the school I went to, and my wife is a gigantic college basketball fan, so I have to watch that. And I like it. I do. And I watch football just because I don't want to be ridiculed if I ever see other men and they go like, "Hey, just catch a game," and I don't want to be like, "What
What game?
I just revealed something about myself.
I will say though, has a man or has a person ever come up to you and been like, "Did you catch the game?" I like what?
I work in a
damn
high
game?
school.
The game.
Yeah. I work in a high school.
big
though,
football
yeah,
high school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't watch college football. I fucking
Yeah.
hate college football. I don't like it. And I don't watch
Yeah.
pro basketball.
I hate pro basketball.
Yeah.
I used to watch a lot of Sounders.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, loved Sounders.
Yeah, me too.
But
Still do.
I mean, Sonics.
Oh.
Losing my brain.
Whoops.
Oh.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, that was
Freudian.
back when,
I don't watch Sonic.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
pro
yeah,
basketball was better anyway. back
But I
then.
do love the Sounders.
Yeah.
And been to a few games.
I've been to a few of those games
Yeah,
too.
they're great. They're fun.
Yeah. Let's talk about the ride week.
I hate the Timbers, by the way.
Do you?
I don't know how I feel, but that's for another day.
Yeah, yeah, that's for another. Let's talk about the ride week. Paul, first of all, what the hell? It's like you flipped the fucking switch, and all of a sudden it's
He
like,
lost his
okay,
job.
cyclist
Back's
now.
good.
Back's
I'm going
good.
out,
Yeah, dude. How many rides? And
I
how
got
many
4 in a
miles?
row. I think it was like a little bit over 180. That's it. Not much.
That's
But
great.
Yeah. Well, I did too many vacation hours at work, so they said I had to take a vacation. So I took Thursday, Friday off, and so then I thought, what am I going to do but ride? So
And the weather. The weather
Oh,
was
it was
awesome.
perfect.
Well, not
Yeah.
Thursday. It was. I was telling Jackson it's Thursday. I rode out by my house on Wood Road and stuff, and the fog was so dense. I had droplets of water were falling off my helmet like it was raining.
Oh, really?
Yeah. On the Strava, I have a picture. I don't know if anybody saw
Yeah.
it. There's a picture. That is about as far, and that's into the sun, and you can only see about like 400 meters in front of you.
Whoa.
And that was at like noon. That's how dense it was.
Fog's been
So-
crazy.
hmm
Yeah.
But Sunday's ride was one of those rides where you're thinking, I am feeling outrageous for 4 days in a row with not hardly riding the year before or anything like that. And I did the old Troika loop.
Yeah,
and
that's I
I'm
saw that
thinking,
one.
I am feeling unbelievable. And I know through experience there's times where you think, I'm feeling unbelievable until you don't.
Uh-oh.
And out there's no hope. So
No, nobody can hear you scream.
yeah, yeah. So then I stopped off in the small little town of Medical Lake and found myself a little fruit
Nice.
pie,
Yeah.
which was supposed to be blueberry, but it didn't even look blueberry. I didn't see any seeds. It was just probably lard with purple.
Yeah,
you know,
Purple
Yeah.
lard pie.
yeah. But it got me
Delicious.
home, you know. So
Yeah. Oh, man.
now it's untapped. Now it'd be safe.
Now he's good.
That's
yeah.
why.
Oh,
No more purple.
Yeah, yeah.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the computer's not fucking doing what I wanted to do. God damn it. There we go. That's a late sponsor plug. Jack, how was your ride week, Chief?
2 indoors and 1 out.
2 indoors, 1 out.
Yep.
That's. But you did a full 50 with the gang, right?
That was I think I got about 43 or 4.
Let's round
They had
up.
to ride home. Let's round up. Well, 45.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. How'd it feel, man?
It was,
How'd it feel?
I whined my way out to Cheney, and I begged to let me turn around at the top of Thorpe.
Yeah.
I don't know, something like that.
It's like 4 miles in.
I'm gonna turn around now. Yeah. I just felt like my steady ride pace and theirs was a little bit different.
Yeah.
But
That's these two guys.
they were
Two, yeah.
comfortable and waiting for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did for anybody who was on the ride with Jack? Was there any moments where he said, "Fuck you"?
I didn't
Couple of times,
swear
didn't he?
much too.
Yeah.
I didn't get
didn't
too
hear
angry.
too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of whined a little bit. I did
funny.
try to sprint for the entering Spokane.
Yeah.
For like
Oh, you tried?
3 pedal strokes before they noticed. They didn't notice.
No.
Okay.
And then they started sprinting, and the old guy beat the young guy. By a bike length, I think.
Really?
So yeah, it was pretty impressive.
It wasn't
Yeah.
a bike lane.
Is that what it was?
It was probably like half a wheel, something
Yeah.
like
Oh
that.
really?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
that close.
close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vision's
Yeah,
first
whatever.
to go.
It was from the.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
I was saying
way off.
before we started the show, I was saying I watched them sprinting ahead of me last week, and I thought it totally looked like Paul was trying to sweep Jackson off the side of the road.
Yeah.
But it was because Jackson had a little lead, and Paul
Little,
was
it was a
dropping
big
into his-
lead then.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
you were dropping behind his wheel, but
Yeah.
our peepers aren't what they used to be
Yeah.
apparently. Jackson, how was your ride week, man?
It was good. I did my one. I only really worked out twice last week, which is fine. I don't really want to burn out by like July, you know.
Yeah.
But I did my calisthenics workout inside, and then I did my weekend ride. Yeah, it was a good ride.
Mhm.
It was fun, kind of chatting and being able to have one of those kind of like long, steady rides. Yeah, and then when we sprinted for it, it was kind of fun because then after that, I kind of kept the pace high and just getting in a little effort too.
Sure.
And there was a lot of fun.
I just want to say again, I haven't ridden in over 10 days, and
It looks like it.
it's dude, it's stressing me out. It is really,
You're looking a little
it
bloated.
is really stressing me out, you guys. I need your help. I'm in a very critical time of the job. Okay, I think everybody knows what I do for a real living outside of here, and this is a very big crunch time. As it goes for teachers in my profession. So this week and next week and last week, on the weekends especially, I am in the theater building sets, painting sets, doing all that kind of stuff. So it's just, that's it. I spent 14 hours in the theater this weekend. And I am the only idiot who signed up for the Afraid of Gran Fondo, which is March 20th. my job lightens up February. I have the Fondo on the 20th of March. So that's 21 days. That's 3 weeks. What would you guys do in that situation? It's an 88 miler. It's, I think 30 some of it is gravel. There's about 4,000 feet of climbing, which isn't that bad for that long of a distance. What would you guys do in my position? Would you do would you train indoors or at night? Would you get up early in the morning? Would you just hope for the best? Would you pile on mileage after you finally get free? Or would you just say, fuck it, and not go? I mean, seriously, what would you guys do if you were me in my position? And yes, you can bust my balls, but also I'd like some genuine advice on how I can get 88 miles in one sitting. The last time I rode, I did 2 days in a row. I did 40-something both days, so I got 2 days of 80 miles, but that's it. What would you guys do?
I don't know. I'd probably stick true to what you've been doing, and then maybe
I haven't been doing anything though.
But before, you know how you were a lot of like door miles and stuff like that in
a race or two on the
Swift races.
Yeah. And then just see if you can get like maybe a longer ride, longer-ish ride.
You should at least get a ride close to that sometime between now and then. But with 2 weeks to go, nothing you do prior is going to matter. I mean, you just, 2 weeks is too. You got 3 weeks. So
like the
just
week
try to,
I get out is shock your body.
You should
into
get
doing
70
major
miles in that week.
Fuck.
Well, and also though, don't forget this stuff's your like this kind of stuff's your bread and butter. The longer kind of like
long, slow distance.
Yeah. That is like you can maintain a tempo for a really long time.
Has Carson been riding?
The guy
does
He
it
was
for
in
living?
Hawaii there for
Yeah.
a while, so
Yeah.
Christmas time.
You're
I
fucked.
The deep.
But you just he's gonna hammer you.
That's what I'm worried about. I
Yeah.
don't want to get crushed by the diva.
Well, first of all, if I was you, I
Yeah.
would have never signed up for the stupid thing. But since you did, I think if you just got a couple,
dad advice.
yeah,
Well,
that's
It's your own damn fault.
shouldn't have snorted a pound of coke, then, you dumbass.
Yeah,
or something like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, I think getting like a, more hour wise. So you're gonna probably be out there, because it's windy out there.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to
That's gonna
get
be the
all
issue.
those
It's
things.
big wind.
Yeah, rolling hills, like go out to the Palouse for a long ride, and deal with that. And on your own, it's gonna be more so. But I think if you kept your, grab even a half hour on the trainer or something like that would keep your
Here and
legs
there.
turning over so you don't cramp or
Yeah.
fatigue. So
You got work on Monday?
I don't, but technically I have to be in the theater. Well, I don't have to. What I do is I go in and I work on sets. I'm painting. I'm doing set lights, sound, stuff like that, and getting all those little elements together. And I'm an idiot, and I tend to do it all myself because it's like I don't know really how I'm going to do it until I start doing it. So it's I don't know.
oh, you're one of those creative types.
I don't know if I'm a creative type or more of a just bullshitter. I just kind of improv.
You don't have an apprentice?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs an apprentice.
It's not how that job works.
Yeah.
It isn't. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't pay well enough. So
A
anyway,
TA.
so I will as soon as. Okay, I'll try to get a couple little, like you say, spin the legs at least. I don't want to do it on the trainer, but I guess I'm not going to have much of a choice when you come home and it's dark.
No,
Yeah.
better than nothing.
Yeah.
If the weather's good Monday, can you go out when it is warm enough and then go to school?
It's all a matter of if everything's ready. I'm the kind of person, like this weekend, I could have technically ridden, but I'm the kind of person who can't sleep knowing there's stuff to get done. And I have to get it done before I can do the other things, because I'll just lie awake at night going through a mental checklist of all the things that still have to be completed. Like if you're working on a flip.
Yeah, I run in the same. I get
Yeah,
it. I
do
get
you?
it.
Okay,
Writing's last. Unfortunately.
Yeah. And
Because
I
we're
hate
adults.
that.
Yeah.
Adulting sucks. Sucks ass. All right, should we switch to something more upbeat and positive? And when I say that, I'm talking about the news.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to be positive. I think it'll be positive. I have no response.
Bernal watch. Hey, he's standing.
Yeah, walking.
Walking.
Yeah,
I saw
did you
him
see
walk
that footage?
Went
outside.
through the door.
Mhm.
Yeah, beautiful door, by the way.
Yeah.
Beautiful door he has on his house. It's like
Yeah.
the size of a
It's about as wide as
garage
this
door.
bar.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
About, yeah. Yeah, and I was like, that alone takes a lot of strength. So, everybody, racing is back, and so are some of the big names. So, who has watched Tour of Oman, Provence, Classica San Paraiso? I'm screwing up and the Classica del Almeria. Anybody see any of those this last week? I see some nodding.
Highlights.
Okay.
First couple.
Highlights, things like that.
Yeah.
So you might have noticed the return of some big names, such as in the Tour of Oman, Fernando Gaviria and Mark Cavendish sprinting it out. In Provence, Nairo Quintana, Julian Alaphilippe. Well, he's not really like a return. Even Filippo Ganna choosing a bike with rim brakes to his doom. We will touch base on that one. Classic Yen Paraiso. I just watched that today. Gravel freaking Spanish race trying to kind of create their own version of Strada Bianca. Alexei Lutsenko showing his dedication to the Astana rap, go for the gold medals. And even
Pedal for the medals.
You pedal for the medals, yeah. Even the ever-consistent Tim Wellens. Classica della Maria, Alexander Kristoff showing that Wanty Gobert is not a cyclist nursing home. Nasser Bohani showing he's more than just a douche with a beard. So a lot of stuff going on. So and some return of some names that we've been talking so much in the show about this younger generation of these guys, and then all of a sudden we see some shining light of the old guys, of a little of this, we see a little bit of that in the background. Seeing a little bit of that in the background. So what do you guys think? Is this a return year to the top names to potentially show them punks what for? No.
I don't think
Right
so.
now, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's all for fun.
You don't
Yeah.
think there's some shining maybe potential of like a Kristoff or Gaviria or anything like that? Gaviria's not old though.
Oh, he's getting up there. I mean, as a sprinter. I mean, he's not as old as Cavendish.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, it's early season. A lot of guys are, when it comes to the sprinters, there's going to be a clash here pretty soon. I can't remember which race all the sprinters are going to be at. Then you're going to start seeing it. But, this is where people are kind of putting out their feelers, seeing what's like. I thought the interesting one was Provence, where Quintana launched, and Alaphilippe was the only one could join him.
Yeah.
And then Quintana just turned the burner on, and Alaphilippe said, I had nothing. Yeah. It's like, I burned everything to get up there, and he just pulled away. But that doesn't mean Quintana's going to be a threat in the Tour. So
Maybe Italy.
I was just happy. Arceus Samsic is not doing Italy. They pulled out of Italy. They are doing Spain and France. They just recently, I hope I'm getting that right, they just announced that they are not going to send a team to the Giro, which is surprising.
Yeah.
But I was happy to see Nairo Quintana actually out of the saddle. And I don't mean that as badly as it's going to be, but usually you just kind of see him in the saddle doing these kind of things, and then, I'm going to say, get dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, he won it last year doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But he was through that all the previous stages. There was a couple of splits and stuff that he would make sure he was in the league group. So he placed himself very well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he played that very well. I mean, he raced extremely well.
Yeah, I agree that it was really cool to see him finally try again, but at the same time, what happens when Tadej Pogacar shows up? What happens when Primož Roglic shows up?
Yeah.
And how they can just blow apart a race. And I mean, unfortunately, we're looking at a year now where, again, Bernal is to go head to head. So we're really just seeing which one of the two Slovenians is going to win a Grand Tour.
You're thinking
Yeah, I think so. When we go to the Tour, I think it's going to be a fight between those two, and then Roglic will win the Vuelta, and whoever is the best will win the Giro. which I'm interested to see who goes. I don't know the starter for that one.
Well, I don't really know if I need to watch now. Thanks, Jackson.
I know. Sorry. It's just, now that all these things are happening, it's cool that like these older names are kind of getting into the mix of it. Maybe they'll make it more interesting.
Yeah.
But the year that Pogacar had matching what Merckx can do, I don't know if I see a bright 2022 for a lot of other tour contenders.
Yeah. How about the individual riders, the single day type of efforts that we might be seeing? Because these are always fun to see some people, maybe not necessarily the stage winners, but seeing some people do some things in these early races that could take us into, for example, we're going to pick our choices for Het Nieuwsblad tonight, and Strade Bianca, which happens the week after that. Anybody see any surprises or glimmers of hope from some riders over the last week in some of the stages you've watched?
I was happy to see Sepp Van Marke kind of during.
You just hold the candle for that guy forever, man. You are. What's his name? It's holding a boombox with
like
Peter
Richie
Gabriel,
Porte, like you,
Peter Gabriel,
Richie
banging.
Porte.
Yeah. I was doing a Say Anything reference, Jackson. Jack, and you fucked it up for me. But that's okay. Lloyd Dobler. Right, no, it's Lloyd. Lloyd did that was the character from the ski. Never mind. Anyway.
Yeah, well,
Sepp Van Marke.
Sepp Van Marke. He was in there, and of course, when they came to the climb, it was all over.
Yeah.
He had probably a rim brake bike, but he couldn't get a change.
Too heavy.
Yeah.
Well, that was anybody. Before I get to that whole change things, anybody else see anything? I saw some interesting mustached guys in EF Easy Post kit riding really well and aggressive towards the front. I couldn't, for the life of me, remember the names of the specific riders, but
yeah, they've
got some classics depth for this time of the year, and some of these races.
Bettiol was there. He was throwing
for Het Nieuwsblad, for Flanders, for maybe even the Strade Bianca and things like that. Or Jackson, am I just living a lie, and the three guys are going to come back from cyclocross and just destroy it?
Yeah, I mean, well, we aren't going to see the big one. We aren't going to see Van der Poel.
Yeah,
he can't be there.
He's just back on the bike now.
Yeah. So it's going to be really interesting seeing a classic season where he isn't on top form. I really wish Filippo Ganna, unfortunately, didn't have to be a domestique, because I think in a lot of these like kind of longer flat races like Milan San Remo, if he could make it over that climb, he could probably do pretty well and stuff like that. But yeah, I do foresee a lot of like Wout and Pidcock. I'm really, when we get to our talk, I'm interested to see where he goes.
He's looking a little swole. Pidcock is.
Yeah.
And that's just a couple weeks after the World Championships. It's like he just hit the gym, or
well, he's
protein up, bro.
Yeah. Well, I'll get on to more when we get there. But
okay.
It's exciting. I'm excited for the current season to come up.
All right. Let's do it. What the bike change heard around the world? I remember watching that specific stage in Provence where Ghana just out of nowhere pulled off to the side of the road. The commentators were saying, "Oh, it's probably a legal bike, completely fine bike exchange." He pulled over. He got a new bike. It was the hill stage. He basically was going to just hold on for that stage. It just, he knew, I'm sure he knew, and the Ineos knew that he really wasn't going to be able to hang on, but might as well make the best of it, right? And so what it appeared to be was him switching bikes for a lighter one. A lighter one with rim brakes. And the discussion became, at least on the coverage from our friends at GCN, the coverage started talking about the fact that a lot of pro riders like the weight differences of rim brakes, and they also the fact that sometimes these things tend to make this little zing, zing, zing. Probably gets in your head. You start thinking that my brakes are rubbing, which is, I know, something I would personally feel. And he got disqualified for it. Illegal bike exchange. I will open up the floor. Does anybody want to say, well, yeah, dumbass, you shouldn't get a bike change when you shouldn't get a bike change, or fuck, disc brakes are dumb, or dude, it's just a
Should
very
have started on disc brakes.
You should breathe with the rhythm of the ching, 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 ching. You know what? Are we ever gonna get off this? And probably the day that rim brakes are just banned.
Yeah.
What is
so I think I didn't know the rule. Because the way the rule states, and I can't even remember. I heard somebody quote it, but the way the rules states is that a planned bike change must be back behind the convoy. You can't do up ahead and make a change. Okay. That's where he got nailed. Now, Nightwing said earlier this morning, or earlier in the podcast, that he knows all the rules of soccer. Now, you would think somebody like Ineos and all those people in Genius would say, we can't do this. But there's a lot of stupid rules and that the UCI is probably still cleaves to for whatever reason. But, if you knew that, I don't understand why he would start. I mean, if it was foul weather and you started with disc brakes.
Why wouldn't you start with
a rim brake bike
on that stage, the whole stage?
Yeah, because you don't know how it's going to unfold. Like, if you plan to change your bike, or whether did they call an audible?
Does the UCI inspect the bike that gets changed to know that it wasn't a mechanical, or was it like, hey, what are you guys doing?
They would check his bike at the end too. That's how they do it.
But no, I don't think they're like saying there was a clear mechanical failure. You can't make a bike exchange.
You can, and they could have done that exact same thing with the way the rule states, back with the team car behind, in the convoy. You can't do it in front of the race. Make a planned bike change. And I think, if I remember, Freddie Mertens had a bike change.
There weren't any rules.
And I think
there were no rules.
Was it? That was in Flanders. It was in Flanders, and De Vlaeminck won.
Bike with no brakes.
He didn't sprint because he had
hopped on a track bike.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he made an illegal bike change. So that was back in Flanders in '77, I think.
I can't believe I know what you're talking about. I can't believe I know what you're talking about.
I think it's just really weird that he didn't ride the whole stage with
a rim brake bike.
Yeah,
because it doesn't really make sense. Because it's like,
there's no advantage to riding the disc brake bike.
Like,
really?
Yeah, it does feel kind of weird. Because why? Really, if you're gonna be in a pack the whole time, probably on the front if you're Filippo Ganna.
Yeah.
Why really care about it? So yeah, I think it's just a weird situation entirely that probably could have never happened if he just started the stage with that bike.
Are there any other teams with that option anymore?
I bet you might see it with UAE. 'Cause
they do, yeah.
They had last year, so
that's it.
So the thing is I heard Adam Blythe talk to, it was on What's Occurring with Rowe and Thomas and
Garrett.
And they were talking about the cool factor, and Adam Blythe, because he's known as the styling guy, he says today's races you have to, because sponsorship, you have to ride their equipment whether you like it or not. You have to ride that. That used to never be a situation. Like if you preferred, a different brake, like you SRAM brakes better than Shimano, you just put it on there. There was a lot of blacking out. You know what I mean?
Or
saddles.
Or saddles, bikes would be painted.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Lamond and his Brancale shoes. And
but
stuff
now,
like
because there's so much money involved, and that might be part of it, that Pinarello has dumped a lot of money designing their F-frame. I'm just throwing it out there as a possibility that, Ineos was the last one to change. A team that spends $6,000 on frickin' change for the Tour de France, and they're the last ones to get off a disc brake. So you start thinking, we got to make this change. So that's when they, at least start with one. So I don't know. It's strange. I don't. Sometimes
it's not going to end soon, is it?
Well, I think when rim brakes are all gone.
Yeah, it'll be.
That's
over.
a bit. That's it.
Next thing I've noticed of these past weeks is the one and only Chris Froome speaking on record. Not only of his plain white T-shirts that look like they're selling for about $400.
Yeah.
To comment his thoughts about two things. I'm sure you guys have heard this one. Number one is gravel and bike races. Thinks maybe shouldn't happen. And number two is potentially, and I didn't hear the quote. I didn't read the quote, so you guys might be able to help me out here. Talking about actually banning from time trials. Huh? I'll let the sound effect board just
What?
yeah.
I'm gonna beg the question is Chris Froome getting a little senile?
Has he lost his fucking mind?
Is he starting to become one of those elder statesmen that just starts to say, kind of starting to seem like that? He's got his YouTube channel. He's starting
Kanye?
Oh gosh, yeah. As of recent, but is he starting to just kind of throw a gripe at cycling because he might not be as good as he once was?
I'm calling him Kanye Froome for the rest of my life. That's so good.
I think
tell my wife.
Yeah, I think his point on the gravel and cobbles in stages, not in like one day.
Yeah,
that's to make that clear. The time trial thing, what he was saying is there's no proper way to train, because it's okay to race on those things because you have everything you don't have to deal with traffic, you don't have, and it's just too dangerous. And road people are training for the tour and they're hopping on their bike 2-3 times, 4 times maybe more or once a week on these bikes, and you have to go full out, and at that position there's no brakes handy, and and
Put
the
them
roads
on a
aren't
velodrome.
closed. Yeah, he's like suggesting go back to use the Merc style. They're gonna have it.
holy shit.
There should only be a race like that, not the tour.
Yeah.
or-
Yeah.
Well, and talking about the A race, there's this concept of the UCI opening up a series of gravel races, and then we have events like Strada Bianca. We have events like that one in Spain, which I can't just Yen Paraiso, predominant gravel races, or is that a professional road event? Where are we going to have this gray area that starts to develop here? Does a gravel race have to have a specific amount of percentage of gravel? Or
I would think a road race would have to have a certain percentage of road, regardless of amounts of gravel or pave or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be a majority.
like, for example, the Freda Fondo I'm doing. It's a terrible example, terrible reference. But it's
To a UCI race?
it's an 88-mile event, and 30 miles of it is gravel, and they're calling it a gravel Fondo.
No, it's a road race.
Well, to me,
A road ride.
this is just my opinion. When you say a gravel, to me it's a fun purchase, kind of what that event is.
Sure.
When you have like Strada Bianca or was that Trey's Bro de Leon?
Yeah.
Leon.
Trobro Leon. Yeah.
Or any of those that do have in there is still a road race. That is a certified racing event. And so, do you really need to put gravel in there? It is a UCI race that has gravel in it, or UCI race that has cobblestones. It is a race. When somebody says gravel, it conjures up in my mind.
Bring out the bike.
Yeah, like
But
Like all the
But
recreational guys
the
with their
UCI
bikes.
is about to launch a series of gravel races.
Mm-hmm.
Is Strada Bianca going to be put into that series then?
No.
Why not?
It's because it's a UCI race.
But
But it's not.
But these
it's not
new
gonna be
gravel
the
races
classified.
will be UCI races.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm being complete
Yeah,
devil's advocate
sure.
here, but
They're going to have a some sort of set standard for what becomes gravel.
yeah. I mean, it just I don't get it. Belgian Waffle was a gravel race. It is on the gravel calendar. There was a fuck ton of road in that race.
Yeah.
Probably a majority.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think.
It's a Fondo.
Yeah,
but it's on the gravel racing calendar.
Yeah, but I
as
think
a
I think
race.
it-
Pete Stetina
yeah.
won it.
Yeah,
It's a
I get
race,
that.
You know,
I get that. And that's a choice, I guess. It's
Yeah.
not a UCI standard.
I think it's also going to depend on the severity of the gravel. In BWR, if I took my BMC on there right now, I would have cracked a rim or dented a rim or something like that. I could not take a road bike where we went. And I think that might be the difference, just because like there might not be a lot of it, but how severe is it? Can a road bike actually handle that? And I think if it can't, then it starts to lean more towards gravel. I mean, why can't a gravel bike do all the things that mountain biking can? Why is it called mountain biking? Because only that bike can suffice the terrain.
I'm gonna go there again, though. I'm gonna devil's advocate here, though. But do you think the stuff we did in Belgian Waffle is more difficult than
Yes.
really?
Yeah, because
I don't.
well,
I've never ridden pave though, so I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
well-
this is just yeah.
well, we rode on like some pretty tight single track at some points.
Sure,
we
you're
rode
right,
through
you're right.
sand.
Yeah.
There was like, I think there was definitely, I don't know if it's more difficult going at the speeds that the pros do, but I think it requires a different skill set than
I see what you're saying.
a form of road would
Yeah.
require.
So I don't know. Classify all this stuff because would Paris-Roubaix classify as potentially a gravel race because it's on these
I don't think
roughened
they won't
surfaces?
take it away from the road events that the UCI has. They're not going to like, all right, sorry, Strada and Roubaix, you're now classified as a gravel event.
Yeah.
They're going to create all these new ones or ones that exist in the U.S. and wherever to say, okay, you are a gravel event.
I'm anxious to see what these new gravel events, quote unquote, are in comparison to something like Strada.
And once they come up with standards like the UCI will, then they'll have to comply. So it's a percentage of dirt, gravel, stream crossings because some of these really have then you would have to define road because you would have to have that, and I'm sure there's already definitions for what makes a road race, but
sure
there would have to be a like, okay, you don't fall in this category, you do as you create this new race. You have to have this amount of this, or you cannot have more than 29% gravel on your event, or you will not qualify as a UCI road race. I mean, there's going to be a time where they write 2 rule books.
It's okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I just think it's weird.
Yeah,
that we're in this crossroad where
I don't think any of the UCI races want to become gravel events.
No.
And also, isn't there a limit in a road race the size of tire you can have?
Oh, there's all kinds of rules for UCI bikes. I would imagine even angles of a gravel bike wouldn't apply.
Yeah, because what I'm thinking about right now is
Maybe.
No, I'm not sure.
Because what I'm thinking about right now is there's a race in Oregon. I forget what it's called. But do I have the name? No, I don't have the name. But Pete Stettner rode 2.1s. Like 2.1 inch mountain bike tires on his gravel bike.
is that most
I think it's like
the most
Oregon
recent
Trail.
one?
He also did it at the Grasshopper as well.
This was Rock Cobbler,
Yeah,
this most
Rock
recent
Cobbler.
one?
Yeah.
Did you guys see the footage of the bulls attacking fucking riders?
Oh yeah,
That's
Yeah.
awesome. No.
Yeah.
But
a new hazard.
yeah.
Wow. Speaking of rider safety,
Yeah.
fucking hell.
But there's another classification that I don't think would fly in a UCI road race. Seeing 2.1s.
Yeah.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
I don't know if the same apply, but in cyclocross you can't go past a 32.
Yeah.
So I would think road is the same. And Paris-Roubaix is the extreme of all road racing, and no one went. I don't know if anybody did 30s, maybe a few. 28's pretty much the standard.
Yep.
So, and I don't. Getting to your question about angles, I don't think they have a problem. There's a certain position, like Superman and all that. But if you think back, unless that they did change the rules, but Steve Bauer and his Do you remember that bike? Eddie Merckx did not want to build it, and he had like a 65-degree seat tube angle. He had to use 2 chain stays.
His seat stays. No, his chain stays were like double length.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had to use 2 sets of chains to mint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was
bring that
an
up, but I got
abortion.
it
was awful.
It was
Sounds like
bad.
a hill climb motorcycle.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
he was way back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
So since we're there, we will not be live next week, but we will definitely have a show next week. But I did want to bring up Het Nieuwsblad, and I sent you guys the preview or the start sheet, and I've also got it up on the monitor here above your heads in terms of who's riding and what everything looks like. I don't know if I can fit the whole thing on the screen nicely enough so everybody can read it. No, that's too small, right? That's only the top 10. Yeah, there are too many teams. So, definitely we should probably throw some picks out there. And we talked about some of the riders we saw earlier in the year and have seen early in the year. And we are seeing some big freaking, beautiful classics riders. I'm just looking at the list right now of the top riders on specific team. I don't see Julian Alaphilippe. I do see Casper Asgreen. For Alpha Vinyl, Quick Step Alpha Vinyl. I see, of course, Wout van Aert. I see Philippe Gilbert. I see, who else am I missing, you guys? Just call out Greg Van Avermaet.
Sonny Cabrelli.
Sonny Cabrelli. Yeah.
I'm wondering,
he'd be a good one.
Look at Lotto. Florian Vermeersch.
Yeah.
Second in Paris-Roubaix, but he's a 0, so he must be an alternate, maybe?
Maybe it's just they haven't assigned the actual...
Well, they have all 27
right.
teams, so he's probably an alternate.
All 7, yeah.
But I would...
Victor Campenaerts.
I bet you if he was lined up, I would have thrown him as a dark horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should I scroll down?
Yeah, because you got to get
Look
to
at Lotto's
Pidcock.
teams. All the Belgians on
I know.
Lotto, except for the Australian.
I've got a little history behind Omloop. If you
Michael Valgren's riding pretty well for Education First Easy Post. You got of course you got Tom Pidcock leading the Ineos Grenadiers. Sepp Van Mark for Israel Premier Tech.
I want to see an Ineos, Magnus Sheffield.
Okay, yeah.
He was in the Junior Worlds. Was actually helped Quinn Simmons when he was fantastic.
Really?
Yeah.
Swift is riding well. I've always rooted for John Degenkolb on DSM, but maybe he's got one more in him.
I think Pascal Ackerman's also an interesting inquiry. He kind of falls asleep a little with the moves and the splits, but I'm interested to see what happens.
Bingo, Arceus Samsic, Total Energy. There he is, Jackson.
Yep.
The return of Peter Sagan, hopefully COVID-free.
Nikki Tepster's there.
Yeah. Does anybody have, if you could pick 3 riders and going through that list as quickly as possible with the very little amount we know at the start of the season here?
I've got 3.
PDF will be bigger. Oh, that's harder to read, isn't it? You do have 3, Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
This is the classics, first Cobblestone, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got 3.
Okay. Paul, who are you going with?
A Lampard.
Okay.
You got to have one quick step.
Sure. Yeah.
Jasper Stuyven is the other one.
Okay.
And believe it or not, Sepp Van Marke.
What?
So, yeah, he won it 10 years ago. So
10
yes, he did. He beat Tom Boonen in the sprint.
Wow.
Jackson, who you got, buddy?
I am going to make a pretty safe prediction at the first. I think Wout's probably going to do pretty well.
You think he's going to just show his cards right out of the gates?
Well, he did last year.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be my first good bet. Second is going to be Tommy P, Tom Pidcock.
He's riding well.
I think he's going to be right off of that high of winning the cyclocross worlds, and why not the hell take Het Nieuwsblad? And then I was trying to decide if Sonny Cabrelli was going to be, but I just made the decision, and it's not going to be my last one. It's going to be the one, the only.
You are.
Peter Sagan.
I think we're all going to pick one just emotional
Sentimental
choice. Yeah. And then the other 2 maybe a little more safe, although 2 of mine already are emotional choices. Jack, you want to go next?
Sure. I got Sonny Cabrelli. I think he's going to be. Wow, and Van Avermaet.
Okay. I was going to pick Van Avermaet too.
Yeah, he seems like
he's one of my emotional
He's
picks.
won it twice already.
And he was in the moves last year with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My emotional pick are Van Avermaet and who's else? Oh God, I forgot. Son of a bitch, DSM.
Who's son of a bitch ride for?
Oh,
John Degenkolb. I just want John to do something. I don't think he will, but I'm going to pick him anyway just because I want to curse his career. And then wow, I just think Wout's riding just too damn well. I think he's riding better than Pidcock. And just after his cyclocross season, I think it's going to be just something else. So
He's primed.
Yep, he is. So that's where I'm going, and I'm sticking to it. So we all got our picks. So we're 2 weeks out of that one. So there could be a lot that happens between now and then. All of our riders could get COVID, and nobody starts, and we're all going to look like idiots when it comes down to it. So there we go. So that's our news. 50 fucking minutes.
That was news.
Yeah, exactly. But we always go for that. So my topic, you guys don't even know what the topic is, and I'm going to throw this into your laps, and you're going to have to try and find a way to keep up with me here. Okay. So the topic, first of all, brought to by our friends at Athletic Brewing. More than just non-alcoholic, great variety, taste, and ever-changing selections. Get there through the link at packfiller.com and see what you're missing out on. All right. I want to talk about the corruption of power and the pressure to cheat. Okay, we've talked about this to an extent, obviously, on the show. So, the show's about cycling, and cheating has come up has come up more than once. But the recent incident with the Winter Olympics has me thinking once again of the absolute bullshit hypocrisy that is present throughout the sporting world. A Russian ice skater she takes, even if accidentally, a performance enhancer and is slapped on the wrist, told it was a no-no, and sent to bed with her milk. And to compete in an event that her country shouldn't be allowed to in the first place because of a state-sponsored doping program. An American runner, I don't know if you guys remember the last Summer Olympics, smokes weed, which is anything but a performance enhancer, and she's banned from the Summer Games completely. Baseball players get bigger as their age and careers come to a close. They get larger, and I'm not talking the large I'm fighting against. Oh. Football players aren't even tested, to the best of my knowledge. Cyclists are hit left and right and are constantly in a shadow of competing in a tainted sport. You tell somebody at a cocktail party that you are a cyclist and they will bring up doping to your face. I don't know. You guys probably get it, don't you? Yeah, I get it constantly. So we look at governing bodies such as the U.S. Olympic Committee, not the U.S., the Olympic Committee, the UCI, FIFA, USA Cycling, all these governing bodies, they have the power and the responsibility to ensure a clean sport, and yet they don't. So my first thing I want to bring up is, I guess, in terms of these organizing bodies, the Olympic Committee had a choice to make with this young skater. And they fucked up. I'm going to just present that right out. I'm going to throw my opinion into your laps. They fucked up. This young woman, regardless of what she did, was caught with a substance in her bloodstream. There's no question. They fucked up.
They're saying it's like something mishandled.
Yeah,
that it was tainted.
Yeah,
and they can't really prove that was 100%.
It wasn't
just like Alberto Contador's steak,
though.
Yeah,
it wasn't a PED. It was a heart medication. But the thing is there's banned substance, and they may not be a PED, but they have a tendency to mask PEDs.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's where that comes from.
Yeah. So where are the governing bodies failing? And I know that's probably going to sound like a very obvious answer for many of you guys, but where are they failing? I'm talking at all levels. I'm talking from USA Cycling to all the way up to...
I think it starts from the very top, and that's the IOC. That is the most corrupt, almost like FIFA.
Yeah.
They have so much power and push that there's no reason... How do you ban a country and then let all the athletes come in and be under it?
Yeah.
They're
Russian
still doing
Olympic
the same
Committee.
thing.
Yeah.
And it's
they don't
you just don't hear the
show.
national anthem.
They don't want to hurt the show. I mean,
that's exactly what it's about, bringing in money.
It's,
And every country or city that brings in the Olympics to their city, I think Montreal is still paying off the 1976 Olympics.
No shit.
Yeah. Go look at
the money's different now.
Even World Cup with FIFA. Look at some of those stadiums. Now it's a giant where birds shit in some of those outstanding stadiums that they built. And
landfill.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's when so much control and power, and there's payoffs and stuff. And so, if you're going to have rules of banned substance, the IOC is the one that controls the UCI. Everybody's shakes over the IOC because that is the focus of almost all amateur sports, or even pro sports. You can get Floyd Landis, if you talk to him about that, his head will pop off. He absolutely hates IOC.
Yeah.
He says that is the pinnacle of, it is the evil part of all sports.
And we've been talking a lot about FIFA, and there's a World Cup coming this summer, right?
Yep.
Well, there have actually in this creation of these stadiums, because it's in Qatar, and first of all, it's going to be too hot for the players, which is going to be very dangerous for them to play in that.
Especially when they're doped up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when they die.
Yeah.
But a lot of the construction for these stadiums have actually caused the death of a lot of these construction workers, and nobody cares. Because who cares? It's a World Cup. You mentioned the stadiums that can't handle it. Brazil, they can't afford it, and so now they have these big stadiums that homeless people live in, dogs, like stray dogs live in. Like all of these things have just come to the ground because there's money, and who cares? Like it's a world spectacle, but does it matter what happens after? And we see like a lot of cities bidding.
China ain't exactly walking on pillows either.
No.
Yeah.
And a lot of these cities bidding on these tournaments or races and things like that, but what debt are they really putting themselves into along the way is another question that I've never really thought about before.
I think all the infrastructure, the hotels, the restaurants, the reason to bring the big race, the big event to town benefits, but ultimately, it's the people are probably the ones that are getting saddled with that debt.
Absolutely, the country.
Yep.
Well, we'll use, this is going to kind of go off a little bit, but in 1974, Spokane had the World's Fair here.
Yeah.
So King Cole was this guy. He thought Spokane was like nothing. Where the World's Fair was, it was a bunch of railroad tracks.
Yeah.
And it was, in downtown was terrible. And he came up with the idea that he was going to bid, and Spokane probably had 175,000 people at that time for the World's Fair. But he had to scrape up so much money. You got to show that you have something in the bank, because they're not going to go there and it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Sure.
So all these countries are bankrolling all these, but who pays for it? But the the taxpayers of those particular countries. Now for Spokane, we benefited on the World's Fair because we have a spectacular park, and the downtown is great, all because of that, and that's what launched it. But when you have,
sustainability,
half $500 million stadium out in the middle of a jungle that's now birds are shitting on and wild animals and stuff, so it's just waste.
How about, in your opinion, the extent of what punishments Russia should have received for this state-sponsored doping program? By the way, listener, if you haven't seen Icarus, it's a great foray into this entire thing for the cycling fanatic. Great, fucking brilliant. A guy starting a film about one thing and then falling into something that was far bigger and more intense. But what do you guys think? Banning the country completely, but they're still competing under a banner of ROC, Russian Olympic Committee. Fuck. Putin was at the opening ceremonies. I don't want to turn this into a political podcast, but I do want to say, what type of an extent should punishment be handed out? How long? And what about, for example, professional athletes competing at on a world platform? Anybody got something?
Yeah, I don't know too much about it. But I think it's weird that they let them just compete underneath a brand new name, pretty much. And I don't know, it just feels like a great way to, we messed up, but we're still here. So who really cares, as long as there's viewership on our amazing athletes. I don't know if I know how long the ban should be, because ultimately Russia's a pretty big country, right? And what is that going to cause? How many people are going to become upset at the fact that they can never see their country compete at another Olympics like
or
that.
the athletes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, it's like the year that they were caught as there should be some restrictions and some added testing of, their how clean they are. And there's generations. I mean, since they were caught, we're 2 Olympics later.
Yeah. 2.
I mean, I guess we have a world championship every year, things like that, where it should just kind of almost reset and go, okay, let's test you. Let's see how you're doing.
Yeah. We weren't in the room when this Russian 15-year-old, quote, accidentally took her grandfather's medication. And those types of things.
They were my dino pills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just
15.
what is the benefit of a country to have an Olympic gold medalist? Does it create anything to the gross national product? Does it create anything beyond a brief moment of patriotism?
Wheaties box.
Yeah, patriotism. Think about it. I mean, since the modern Olympics, the platform that all countries use, the pride of their country and their athletes. That's certainly, I mean, during the Nazi regime, it was in Berlin in 1936, and that was a platform for Hitler's, like supreme race type thing.
Yeah.
Same. It
Thank
goes
you,
on.
Jesse Owens.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And the thing is how do you control as a country, like individual sports? Now, there's rumors of 1984, the U.S. Olympic cycling team was blood doping. I don't know if that's true, but
it's true.
Yeah. So,
it's true.
but it wasn't illegal at that time. It's just
No.
kind of one of those weird
kind of a
things.
new-
It's like
yeah.
It was frowned upon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Why would you do that?
So, yeah. The only gold that they ever won in the road race, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know.
A couple
but
track golds.
but what the Russians did
Gorski.
it.
Gorsky and Steve Haig.
Yeah.
And Nelson Bales, and I mean, they're
Anyway,
they're
yeah,
good.
yeah.
But what Russia did at Sochi was, do you know how elaborate that was?
It was
They had tunnels and running.
magnificent.
It was all underneath, and how that.
Again,
how do you
watch
not,
Icarus if you haven't seen it.
just
It's a
watch
great
that
fucking-
how intricate that whole setup was, just so they can cheat, and put their team, Russia in front. And why? Well, to me, it's like, no, you guys, this is major infraction. That means athletes were involved. That means, everybody from the top, politicians.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a couple of the cycling team, or it was a cross country ski team. It was the whole freaking thing. Everybody was. So yes, ban them for 2, 3, whatever. I don't know, whatever Olympics, and don't give them a
It's not working.
IOC Olympic from Russia.
Yeah.
It's
You know,
not
like,
working.
what the hell?
It is
No.
obviously not
Yeah.
working.
No. That's just the dumbest thing in the world.
It's a little different. I mean, I know doping in the U.S. has happened, but it is a little different. The communist sport, it's more government sponsored than
Absolutely.
we are used to.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's a lot bigger. Easier to hide, or I don't know. It's state sponsored.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So you got to look at the politics of the nation too.
Can I ask you guys why you think some sports are more apt to lay down punishments?
Probably the consistency of it.
Sure.
I mean, let's put it this way. I work I'm a preschool teacher, and if you say one punishment once, they'll get freaked out. But the more you do it, the more they get used to it, and the more they just continue to exemplify that behavior. So you have to get more and more severe with it the further you go. Not like I'm saying I'm doing anything bad to my students, but you have to get more and more serious with it the further they go. And so almost you have to do that with with athletes. With that, it works with 4-year-olds, it works with adults as well.
Yeah.
You have to continually.
It got me thinking about a teaching situation. You've got the troublemakers sitting in the back of the classroom. You're going to focus more on them because they
Everybody
are
else
repeat
loses
offenders.
out. Mm-hmm.
And then the good kids, you're not going to necessarily pay that attention to. So So maybe the sports that are more apt and more prone to it, but I guarantee you, football, baseball, all these sports are doped to the gills, but we're not. Nobody gives a shit.
But you are talking about international versus a national sport. And so, yes, I mean, within our NFL and our hockey and our soccer, you know, it's all contained within our country.
Okay.
But then you go against, I mean, this is like you're going against the rest of the world knowing, well, not everybody's on the same plane. You know, fairness. So it's
so if it's local, it's okay.
No, I'm not saying that at all. No, I'm not saying that at all.
It's in my house.
Well,
it's fine.
I'm also
Daddy can smoke weed at home.
Right.
Daddy can inject heroin in between his
But
toes
I think it's
time.
noticeable.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm also like,
Gotta keep it funny.
speaking of noticeable, I'm also thinking about it that it is noticeable that we are seeing the same sports continuing this behavior. It's because the punishments haven't been extreme enough.
Right.
The little slap on the hand, she's gonna do it again.
Yeah.
The reason why why did Lance come back to win again, but he actually got hit that time?
Yeah.
Everybody, that's why it continues to happen. It's because, don't do it next time, please.
Yeah.
It's going to happen next time.
You've been warned and lucky to get away with it.
Ban him for a year.
And I will
It won't
say this
happen.
about the sport of cycling and about the Lance situation. And the biggest crime of that entire thing was nobody got punished until they had already retired and they were done. And they still benefited like fucking bandits. And they're still benefiting like fucking bandits from it.
There lies the problem.
What is the incentive to ride clean when you can have an incredible, stellar career? You can fill your Instagram with pictures of you with celebrities, you know, with rings on every finger, looking like a badass, which I would never do anyway. But it's we're breeding a culture where cheating's okay, and you've got these athletes at the Winter Olympics going, what the actual fuck am I supposed to do? So you're saying this Russian girl can compete, and if she wins, we just won't have a medal ceremony.
Yeah, that's
so in other words,
bullshit.
I got a fucking silver, and I still can't stand up and represent my country.
Right.
This is so fucked.
That's a pretty sad situation. I didn't understand that at all.
Yeah.
Why they?
Do you think she was let off because she was young and cute and white?
No.
Oh.
I think it's all deals with money again. That the UCI. Here's my take on it. The UCI granted these athletes, you know, they're saying the athletes shouldn't be punished. It should be the country of Russia for doing this. Well, the athletes, we know, were a part of it too. I mean, realistically, now they have to eat crow because these poor athletes, well, they just got caught cheated. So what are they going to do? To me, I think if you look at the sports, the ones with the top money, like boxing, I'll use that because I do enjoy watching boxing. I guess that would have been one of the answers that things to watch.
I've
so
talked
Anthony,
with you on long rides in depth about boxing, and
it is so strategic.
You know your shit.
Anthony Joshua, who is this Adonis Olympic boxer from England, wants to box in Madison Square Garden is this big thing. So he's going to come and fight this boxer from the U.S. Well, the guy fails a dope test.
Oh shit!
So they said, well, we'll postpone it. And they test him again 3 times.
Fuck.
So then, you know, what do you do? They had to fill the gap. They pick up this guy. This is like a Rocky story. This first American Mexican, Andy Ruiz, came in there and he clobbered Anthony Joshua and won. Yeah, he won. He became the. He was out of shape, short, stubby legs. And Anthony Joshua is like 6'5", and he's like 6 foot. And he's like swinging up here, and it was a great fight. But nevertheless, the thing is that stuff happens all the time. And you look in the NFL. Well, I know in baseball, if you get positive for drugs, they do tests. They go to you personally and say, "Hey, you got busted, so knock that off." They test you again. They tell the team. On the 3rd time, then it becomes public. So they get 3 tries.
Wow.
But look at the money that's involved because they can't afford these stars to lose because they're making money on swag, everything.
They did that with Lance, though.
Same thing.
Okay.
All those
Donate
manufacturers.
some money to drug, to...
Well, I mean, think about all these people that stood behind him until it came out. You know, he had Nike and Trek and all these people like, oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oakley, and then,
Yeah.
they all ran.
Nike's probably, yeah. Yeah.
Well, Oakley was a
Fucking
huge one,
Subaru.
too.
He was on Wheaties boxes. He was
Yeah.
everywhere. And, and Pat McQuaid's been on this show. And, I can honestly say that Pat probably was pretty damn aware of all that stuff, but do you stop the motor? Do you stop the machine?
Well,
how do you stop the machine?
I remember that
Does it all come
conversation,
crashing
too.
down?
Live strong.
him.
I mean,
Yeah.
all that.
Well,
But,
yeah, you're fighting. You're not just fighting just that one person. Pat wasn't fighting that one person. I think
No.
he was fighting the whole UCI.
Yeah.
How do we've got this problem? There's not like one guy. He's not a tyrant or
No.
dictator. He's like, we got this problem. They're like, well, Jesus, look at the money that's rolling in because of this guy.
Yeah.
So how are we going to deal with this?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem. Is money is the corruption.
Yeah. I'll say it again. That's the post to this podcast. I don't hate Lance because he doped. I hate Lance because he was an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't think he was a good person.
Yeah.
I just he's a fucking incredible bike racer. He was riding and he perfected the program. And he was a brilliant rider to begin with.
And
You can't win unofficially 7 tours. I can't go and win unofficially 7 tours. I could juice myself full of everything outside of Peter Parker's blood. And I won't win 7 tours. You have to be an amazing athlete in the first place. So.
yeah, and his dedication. He trained like a
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
mofo.
All right. No, we didn't come to any fucking conclusions. Other
No,
than
you
the fact
can't.
that the entire system is.
Well, I
screwed.
wonder when Gravel's going to start drug testing.
Yeah.
As soon as UCI takes over.
Well, you know what? Pete Stetna said something about that recently. In
Like,
a
why wouldn't
post.
you? It's not.
Well, he's
Strava,
sponsored by a
there's some-
CBD manufacturer. And he has to make sure that his CBD manufacturer has no THC in it. And he is sponsored by Floyd's, and he says, you have to make sure of this stuff because now that this sport is becoming so much more legitimate, and I don't mean legitimate to insult the sport. I fucking love gravel, but yeah, they're going to get tested, and they got to make sure you can't just have a CBD to make you relax and you just get popped the next day. So there's something to think about there. So that was all depressing as shit. So let's have some fun, okay? And I'm gonna end our we're gonna have some fun, and I don't even think I have my old themes on here anymore. I don't. But we're gonna have some fun, and we're gonna play the good old fashioned game of who pays the bills, gentlemen. 2022 version. Who pays the bills? Yeah, you guys all rolled your eyes. Yeah, exactly. But the people love the games, right? The peoples. I give the people what they want. Think of Mel Brooks and History of the World. Great movie. I name the sponsor, and you tell me what that sponsor does or creates. All taken from the Het Nieuwsblad start list. Okay, they're all modernized teams. Jack looked behind him to see if the list was still up there. But it's not. So I'm going to name, for example, this is too easy, but I'm going to say, for example, Segafredo, and you guys would chime in with your
Paul.
name. Paul would say
Coffee
machine, coffee maker. No, they're coffee, right?
Coffee
They're not
machines, coffee. They do it all.
Are they coffee or machines? I don't know.
They do
Fuck it.
both.
We would have
All
all
the
failed.
same.
So, do you guys need a piece of paper to keep score, or can you guys just count on your fingers? There are only 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
got
You guys got enough fingers?
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody's good. Nobody put their
Toes.
hand in the wheels recently? All right. So, you guys ready? All modern sponsors. This might go down like a lead balloon because I don't know a lot of the current sponsors. So, our first is Premier Tech. Premier Tech.
Jackson Technology.
Jack. Pharmaceutical.
No, Paul gets a free shot.
Yeah, they used to be with Astana.
Yeah, they were.
It's a Canadian-based company.
It is a Canadian-based company.
Do I get a half a point?
Nope.
Jesus. I would say travel.
They create chemicals and fertilizers.
No.
Yeah.
That's
So
close.
They did.
Pharmaceutical. I should get a half a point.
No,
No,
fertilizers.
Fertilizers.
You're not fertilizing your body.
You kind of are.
What do you?
Yeah.
You got COVID, so you drink bleach.
You drink bleach. No,
That's how you
it's
fix
horse
it.
tranquilizer.
Yeah.
Fucking rocks.
Makes
So
me-
a big donut hole on that one. Next one, Easy Post.
Jack. Mail delivery.
I'll give you that. Shipping services.
good.
Jack's got one on the board, so hold a finger out. Next one, Arkea of Arkea Samsic. Yeah, these are hard,
Yeah.
man. I had to look them up. Doesn't hurt to guess.
It's a French. Do I get a half a point?
No.
No.
Jackson, it's a French traveling service.
Oh, nope.
Jack.
Yep.
Insurance company.
Nope.
No clue.
It's bank.
Damn.
Oh.
Bank.
We should always guess bank.
Yeah.
Always
Yeah.
guess banks.
Banks and chemicals.
Number 4.
And phone companies.
Yeah.
Jaco.
Paul.
Paul.
Is Australian. Do I get half a point?
Jesus.
No, you don't. It's also American. You know?
Yeah. It's trailers, caravans, stuff. Yeah.
RVs. Yeah,
Mhm.
recreational
Okay.
vehicles. Recreational vehicles. Paul's got a... That's
Caravan.
1 point and a half. Well, actually, I have 2 points. Because
No,
I
you
got all
don't
those.
get the halves. So you both have
One and
one,
one.
correct? So,
Yeah.
I
Hold your
should be
finger up.
keeping score.
Okay.
I should be keeping score. JP. Jackson, you don't have any, right?
I don't think I'll get any for this one. This
Mhm.
one's so hard.
You might. You never know. Total Energy.
Paul.
Oh,
I think that might
Petrol.
be Paul first.
It's gasoline.
Oil and
Cars,
biofuels.
yeah.
Yeah, oil and biofuels. Phoenix.
Jack.
Jack.
Insurance company.
No.
Jackson,
No.
a bank.
No. That's a good try, though.
Yeah.
Phoenix.
Phoenix. Insurance.
I already said that.
Did
Wait,
you?
he guessed.
No, they make interior design materials.
Oh.
Now, in the
Wow.
U.S., they make flashlights. Different company. Different
Ah.
company altogether.
Then they don't count.
Yeah. Groupama.
Jackson,
Jackson.
insurance.
Yes, Jackson's on the board.
I get a half a point for pointing out that.
You know,
That's French. That's a French
Yeah,
company.
it's a French-
Do I
it
get
is
half a-
French.
Oh, okay.
and he gets a half a point.
DSM.
Paul.
Paul.
Travel. That's it's a service to do traveling, that type of thing.
You're wrong.
Oh.
Jackson,
Jackson.
is it like an
If you
o-
say bank.
is it like an oil gasoline thing?
I don't think so.
Is it, okay.
No, I'm going to give
Jack.
you their definition here. Yeah.
Utility company.
Royal DSM is a global purpose-led company in health, nutrition, and bioscience, applying
Oh, no,
science
wow.
to improve the health
They're the
of
ones that
people,
were studying-
animals, and the planet.
Studying their calorie intake during
Yeah.
a stage. the
Yeah.
fuckers.
Yeah.
So we've only got 2 left, and we are obviously not supporting
One were
the professionals.
We all have
everybody's
one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
no. Paul
somebody's
has
gonna
2.
lose.
Paul has 2.
Oh, he does.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Uno X.
Paul.
Paul.
That is from Norway. Do I get a point? Half a point?
You're correct where it's from, but you don't get a point. What
No,
is-
it is a petrol company again.
It is a chain of unmanned fuel stations
Yep.
throughout Norway and Denmark.
I just heard that one.
Yeah.
3 points. Yeah, it's over. Fuck it.
Yeah, as from Wanty Gobert, what does Gobert Matériaux create?
Jackson,
Yes.
it's a bank.
It is not.
Damn it.
Jack.
Yeah.
Oil.
I'm ashamed of you, Jack, because they make construction materials.
Oh.
Yeah. So the final
Construction materials? I think
No,
it says
sorry,
that.
Paul. Yeah, I should have given you. I should have let you have a chance.
It's from
to answer.
Belgium. Do I get half a point?
No,
Yeah.
it's
It's not.
I think it's French.
No, well, actually, I think they're Belgian.
Swiss?
I
Belgian?
think so.
Well, I just want to say that game.
Sucked.
That was hard.
None of us apparently know current sponsors of professional teams. And
Nor
the
do
funny
we
thing
give a
was,
shit.
is,
I know what Quickstep is.
Yeah.
I know what Enios.
yeah, well, I didn't pick some.
I
of the
know what
big names.
EF is.
Yeah, I didn't pick
So-
the big names.
Yeah, like Alpacid.
Alpacin.
known that one.
Hair.
Yeah, yeah.
Hair products, yeah.
I didn't pick any of those because they were
We don't
obvious,
know.
you know, and there we go. And I know EF personally because as a teacher, I get spammed by them on a consistent basis because they want me to take students all over the world, and I should.
You
I
should.
honestly
Yes, you should.
And I always take their calls because of their sponsorship of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But I haven't gone on a trip yet.
It could be Lachlan one day. You never know.
Lachlan,
Yeah, he's in a
like,
call center.
He's supposed to
Giving back. I'm giving back.
I'm calling you on the road. You
Yeah.
know, we're halfway through France. My feet hurt. So there we go. There's your competitive element of the Packfiller podcast, and that brings
Let's
us.
arm wrestle.
on an audio podcast.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, well, we are video.
got a
right
camera.
now, yeah, we do stream live every week, but we will not be streaming live next week. I do have to say, and I apologize for that. I'm going to have to take a week off just because of life getting in the way. But I will be posting an interview scheduled that I'm going to be working this weekend. Should I jinx it and say who it's going to be with?
No, you
Or
should.
not?
You should promote it.
I should
because it's
promote
good-
it.
Yeah,
I should
think so.
promote it. Okay. You know, I'm going to have John Galloway and Chris Sidwells on the show, interviewing them on Saturday to talk about their new audio magazine format that they're putting out through Cycling Legends. Really, really cool concept. They wanted, as they said, an audio magazine where it's a slew of different podcasts that all deal with different topics, news, features, information, lifestyle, kind of a thing like that. And so it's going to be interesting to talk to those guys about it. And they have a great perspective on the sport. Chris is obviously a relative of the late great Tom Simpson. And John's been on the show a couple times. And he's a great guy, and I'm working on my impression of John's voice. I'm getting pretty damn good at it after I talk with him. I go upstairs and speak in a Scottish dialect for a while. And my wife looks at me like, "You need to shut the fuck up." But there we go. So that will be scheduled for next week, and then the week after that, we're back to live shows. So you can call us out on our horrible or extremely successful Het Nieuwsblad picks, and then we will go from there. And Jack will hopefully still be in town.
when?
You got to flip. You're not going to finish the flip yet
No,
in 2 weeks.
I'll be here.
Yeah, there we go. So there we go. Get out and ride, would you? I guess that's what we're going to say.
I'm going to Hoquiam.
Are you?
Just this weekend. I'm gonna get the fender bike. Here comes the rain.
Oh, jeez.
Here comes the rain.
Not for us.
Oh yeah, I'm putting a bell on it too.
Really?
You see those $39 bells?
Who would? Why would you spend $39 on a fucking bell?
I've been in the market for a $39 bell. I'm happy that I know
It
now.
comes in rose gold.
Not
well,
40,
yeah.
39. That's my
You know what?
cutoff.
This
If
is
it hits 40.
The show's supposed to end, but I got a genuine question for you
All
guys
right.
about lights.
Lights.
About headlights
Yeah.
and flashing taillights. I've seen so many flashing taillights on bikes on the road. And maybe this should be a topic for another show, but your opinions on we can all know of the effectiveness of it, but are drivers going to truly see it and go around you, or they just fucking don't care because they're staring at the phones?
I think nowadays you see such powerful headlight or taillights and headlights really
On
that-
bikes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That I mean, I can see them pretty damn well at night all the time.
I'm talking daylight.
Well,
I've
even
seen
the
riders
daylight.
riding with
I
them in
think it-
daylight.
Yeah, they
I
work
sure
too.
wish I had mine on Thursday with that dense fog.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
My only gripe, they need to make the strap longer
An
though.
arrow one.
Yeah, because it doesn't
Yours
fit.
is all jury rigged. I saw that one.
yeah, and then the rubber band.
Zip
broke.
ties
Did it?
and shit.
I got zip ties.
I'm not gonna
You don't
zip
want to-
tie
you
a
don't
light
want-
to my bike.
You don't want to scratch your seat, dude.
I already have a gaping one.
Oh,
We never let it
They
die.
can see it from space.
I
It's so
still
big.
haven't seen it.
You never
on that ride.
You never will.
I brought it up during the ride. I'm like, hey, I haven't seen
Never
that
not
scratch. Where is
classic.
it? And then we just kept riding.
Did he show it to you?
No, I've never seen it.
He
I
tries
was
to
in the
hide
back.
it. He
You
rides
didn't
not
see it.
where people
You
can see
pull along Jackson's bike, and it's the equivalent of a little dent on his bike. But if it could speak, it would be going, "Hi, Jack! Look at me!"
Yep, I buff it just
He
to make
he
it.
rides he rides the gravel like the fog line just so that nobody will ride on
Yeah.
the
'Cause he's
side.
embarrassed.
Yeah.
I understand.
Way to go.
I'm a terrible person. Thanks, guys. I started off the show exhausted and depressed, and now we're
Now you're
ending
more
the show
depressed.
exhausted.
Go drink
I'm
yourself
sounding,
to sleep.
I'm sounding like one of the people on The Bachelor when they rasp up their voice when they want to sound intelligent. You never notice that? They
No.
do
No,
that.
because I
And
don't
what?
watch the show.
Yeah.
Which
I
show?
have to pay attention.
Yeah.
Jackson watches it. But
What
when
is
they
it?
want to
Damn
sound
straight.
The Bachelor, when they want to sound
Oh,
intelligent,
I
they
know.
rasp
Fuck
up their
that.
voice. I've been talking way too
Somebody-
fucking long.
Yeah.
What?
I was going to
Somebody-
say, somebody tries to try to come off intelligent on The Bachelor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like pretty shallow
Oxymoron.
pool to be driven.
Yeah.
It's like I'm Mark Spitz in a kiddie pool.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah. See you next week.